right center. That ball is gone into Monument Park.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 14th episode of the Monument Park podcast. I'm Cole Weintraub. That's Luke Pravacci. And we haven't been on here in a while, and it's probably a good thing because we would have been ripping our hair out on the podcast in two separate episodes. So it's probably better to get it all down in one. Yankees just stunk. We haven't talked in a minute. Yanks had a series against Boston, then one against the Phillies mini-series to finish out the 4 games this season. And then we played the Red Sox again, and it just didn't work. Coming off the first 2 series, the Red Sox series, the Philly series, it just looked pretty good. But, with all these injuries, all the COVID coming out of the All-Star break, thinking, oh, maybe the Yankees will make a run for it in the second half. But when you rip 2 of our best players out of our lineup just to start, how are we supposed to gain any momentum? And then we actually win. And then, this past series just killed us. So we're just going to break it down. Luke, how you doing?
We went 5-4 since we last talked. And I feel like we lost all 9. There's the thing about these gut-wrenching losses is they set you back past just the game alone. The momentum is at an all-time low every time one of these things happens. Yep. You see it. We lost to Houston last game before the All-Star break.
And that was just
felt
like we had just had a great series, and then we do that.
Exactly. And then when something like that happens, you come out first game against Boston and just shoot an absolute blank. And now the same thing happens. And we're about to go to Tampa and play Tampa, and we're probably going to lose that game 6-1 and be lifeless, because that's how it goes when you lose these types of games. It goes past just a single game, and we've had way too many of them. And we're only 3.5 back in the wild card, and it's because of these ridiculous losses that don't make any sense, where we just implode.
I mean, you just take away 2. You take away 3 or 4 of them, and we're like in the wild card. So
it's insane. It really is insane, and there's no word to describe this team other than just a choke and just underperforming.
I mean, I don't even feel as though the bullpen's even like the problem. It's just like it really isn't. I mean, it's just everything, and then when something works out, the bullpen fails. And then it looks like it's a problem. But that doesn't mean we have to go get Craig Kimbrell. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't think there's any way of solving it. It's just a team effort. It's Johnny Loizaga. Some days it's Britton. Other days it's Chapman. It's Green. I mean, it's everyone.
Those are top 4 relievers, and they've all had meltdowns. I mean, it cost us these.
It just proves baseball's not played on paper. I mean, because if it was, we'd already won.
Starts at the top with Boone. In his presser today, he was just floundering on every decision he made with the bullpen. You can tell he's just no mojo, and it shows on the field. And it's been showing all year, and it's going to continue to show until things start to change with the players and with the manager, and maybe even the GM.
So if we're gonna flash it back, which is, I mean, we were 5-4 this weekend, or this past 10 days, which has been a pretty crazy 10 days for me personally, but whatever. First Boston game gets postponed, just like what? July 15th, COVID outbreak, rough day.
We were gonna go, just postponed while we were in the car. That was brutal.
Yep.
Not good.
No. So that day was terrible. And then July 16th comes, and I mean, we're playing like we have nobody, because we didn't. First day of the Scranton Yankees, and I mean, you read the lineup, and that day it was just, you just read the lineup and you knew you were going to lose. Like, it didn't matter how good the pitchers were. LeMahieu, Stanton, Odor, Sanchez, Torres, Gardner, Gittins, Ambergy, LeCastro. I mean, it's just not good, like, at all. I mean, Monty was his 5th straight start of no run support, 3 hits the whole day for the team. He gave up 3 runs in the 2nd inning, but settled down. Gave us 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. I mean, that's fine. It's fine. It's like, I don't know what else to ask from him. The offense doesn't do anything. We move on to game 3. And you could take that.
Game 3 was the Greg Allen show. It was just, he sparked on the scene, gave us the jolt of energy that we needed, and DJ scored him on a double or a single to tie it at 1-1.
Yeah.
And this was the rain out 6-inning game, and Cole pitched all 6 innings, looked really good, only gave up 1 run, and he had 11 Ks, which is just insane. And in the downpour, Gary and Glaber went back-to-back to make it 3-1, and the game got called after that. There's a lot of dramatics with this game. There was the fan throwing the ball at Verdugo, which a lot of time has passed since that, but I mean, it's still the same. You just can't throw a ball onto the field and hit a player when it's his job to be out there. You just can't. There's no excuse. It's not even worth diving into. There's just no excuse.
It just makes the fan base look so weak, I mean, weak or just classless. And I don't know why you want either of those two. So.
No, got banned for life. It's good.
Good for him.
But yeah, I mean, and Tim Lukasher towards ACL, which sucks. He's one of the faster guys on the team since he joined.
Fastest
he was
guy in
even
baseball.
giving us a little bit of he was giving us a little bit of a spark. He had a big home run against Houston. And it's just, I mean, we won the game, but it was such a weird feeling. There was I think 2 rain delays, if I'm not mistaken. It was just a really long, strung out game that we won, but it didn't really feel like a win.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Garrett Cole. Just Garrett Cole.
He's unbelievable.
It was his second straight great start. You can't really ask for more from him. I mean, he goes all 6. He was gonna come back and pitch the 7th, but there was no 7th inning. But yeah, it was a cool ending with Gary, then Glaber, and then the rain delay, and that was that. I mean, it was, and we couldn't hit that Salamore guy all year, and we finally got to him. So
finally.
4th game. This was probably the most fun game of the 9 that we're covering. I called this game. I broadcasted it. I mean, it was just an all-around good game. Our 6 through 9 went 6 for 12 with 8 runs scored, 5 RBIs, 2 homers, and 2 Ks. That was, originally Ambergy, but he got hurt, sent on the DL. Gardner, 1 for 2. Odor, 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored and 2 RBIs. Lamar, 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. And Greg Allen, 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored, a stolen base, RBI. So, I mean, just everything was working out. All the guys that you thought weren't going to play well, played well. Jameson Taillon just did his thing again. 5 1/3, 4 hits, no runs. I mean, it's just start after start lately since that June 12th collapse. Not really collapse, but getting knocked out in the first inning is never good. And it really seems like he kind of put everything together, kind of just went with it, and had, pulled out a few more pitches from his repertoire that he may have not been throwing, but I mean, it worked. He kind of reconstructed himself mid-season, which you got to tip your cap to because it's not easy for a lot of guys. And he's done a good job. We're facing Martin Perez, who we've always hit him well today. We had small ball. We had a hit and run. Stanton, fielder's choice, whatever. Greg Allen, sac fly. It just all worked out. So you had Ambergy go down the following inning. Then you have Ryan Lamar slam into the right field wall. I mean, at that point, it was just like, what is going on? But he stays in the game. They asked him post game, and he said that, you're not going to get too many opportunities to be a Yankee. And after getting hurt his first time, he's really just trying to make the most of every inning that you go out there and throw in those pinstripes. You just have to maximize them. And I mean, He had a great game, 2 for 3, hit a home run after getting injured, so that was cool. Bullpen was fine. Green, Britton, Litke. I mean, we won 9-1, so there really wasn't any stress going on here, which was good. So, I mean, 9-1 win, and you're feeling good about it because that's the last game of the series, shortened series, but you take 2 out of 3 from Boston, and you just got to move on. To a 2-game set against the Phillies, who you did not look good at all against in the first 2 games that we played them in Philly, but we finally kind of put them together.
Domingo Herman just had a really mediocre, like 4 innings, 2 runs. Mm-hmm. Not awful, but not great. But we were getting some sparks again from the young guys, an RBI by Florio. And then Greg Allen was wreaking havoc on the bases in the 5th when we were down 2-1. Tyler Wade lined out with a runner on 3rd and 1 out with the infield in. And it was right to Didi, and he tried to snap throw it to 3rd to double off Greg, and he threw it away. So he pretty much scored that run on his own and sparked it. And Brett Gardner followed it up with a bomb to make it 3-2. And then we added some insurance runs with Gary and Stanton both going deep to make it 5-2. But both Chapman and Britton made it a little interesting, giving up runs in their innings of work. But Florio hit a home run in the bottom of the 8th, his first career home run, which was really cool to see. He was really excited. So we were up 6-3 going into the inning with Chapman. So even though he gave up the solo shot to McCutcheon, it was fine. We just ended up winning 6-4. It was a feel-good win. Lots of good contributions from a lot of individuals that you don't normally see it from.
I mean, Chapman in that final inning, he was throwing 96-mile-an-hour fastballs, and then after the home run to Hoskins, serves him up 103 to strike him out. I mean, it's just like he's like intentionally trying to do it. I don't know. It's kind of weird from a fan standpoint how this guy can look completely lost and then follow it up with probably one of the grosser pitches that I've seen him throw all year. It's very up and down with him. You don't really know what you're going to get. It's Forrest Gump, life's like a box of chocolates. And I mean, that's really what it is in Aroldis Chapman's 9th innings. Second game, spot star. I really thought this was going to be a punt game. I think a lot of people did.
They tried to.
Yeah, they really did.
They did too. They tried to lose this game.
Asher Wojciechowski. He just did an addition to the punt. I mean, you have no expectations with him. You're facing Spencer Howard, who you've never seen before, rookie. So, I mean, just the game script from the beginning just doesn't seem like the ball's going to roll your way. And I mean, we did our thing, I guess. We won 6-5. I mean, first pitch of the game, Asher gives up a homer, and then gives up an RBI double to Harper in the 3rd. So we're already down 2-0, but Glaber gets one. And this was his 3rd home run in the last, couple of games. And you're thinking maybe that Glaber Torres is finally coming around. I mean, he has his power needs to come around, and we all know that. And it's very upsetting to see a guy who just destroyed 38 home runs a few seasons ago. Say what you want about the Orioles home runs, but 38's 38. And from a shortstop that's 23 years old, 22, 23 years old, it's impressive nonetheless. But the last 2 seasons, he hasn't been that same player. And I mean, you question yourself. You question if that's really your guy in the future, because you talk about his defense, this and that, but I mean, his bat's not even there sometimes. And when his fielding isn't there, and his bat's certainly not there, I mean, there's nothing to compensate for his bad glove, which has been better. But when he's not swinging the bat well, you're thinking about who's going to be your next starting shortstop in the future. And I mean, digging around the trade deadline, you're always thinking about who's in, who's out. And I don't think we'll see Glaber Torres moved. If anything, a position change. But I mean, I don't know what they've got going on after these losses. So, Glaber makes it 2-1, and then we get an RBI double from Greg Allen. Gardy scores from first with 2 men out. Off Christopher Sanchez, just a good swing by Allen from the right side, switch hitter. And scoring slows down till the 7th inning when Hector Neris, who's been brutal all year, we hit that 3-run home run with DJ in the first Philadelphia game earlier in the season. I mean, he's blown, I think, a third of his saves this year, 12 out of 18. I mean, it's kind of like where the Phillies this year. It really is. And I mean, I hate when I'm like tweeting and talking about how bad the Yankees are, and it's like, welcome to how a Philadelphia Phillies fan feels, or welcome to how the Mets feel. Like no, like how about no? Like I'm not. I don't feel welcome to this lifestyle, to this bad baseball, because it's not the Yankees. I put out a tweet today. I mean, this team doesn't feel like the New York Yankees. It feels like the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles will blow a game, and it's like the fan base is like, whatever. I mean, this is a bad baseball team, but these are the Yankees. And I believe I saw a stat last night, since May 12th, the Yankees are 50% in save situations. So you really don't know, like, at all. It's like the bats could come around, the pitching could fall apart, and you really just can't have any confidence in this team. Like I was saying yesterday, we were going to lose the game, and it was like the 3rd inning, and we were already down 3-0 or so. And then we come back, and it makes me look like a fair weather fan. But I mean, like, what do you expect? What do you expect from a fan who's read the same depressing novel over and over and over again? I mean, there's just nothing out of it. Odor homers, makes it 5-2 off Neris, and I mean, you're really sticking it to him. 5-2 lead. And then you see why the Yankees are struggling. We even get 2 innings out of Albert Abreu in the middle innings. And I think Albert Abreu, with his stuff, with how long he's been in the organization, I feel like they've always had a plan for him. And I mean, he could easily be a part of the bullpen next season. I think he fills in O'Day's spot next year. Well, I mean, Darren O'Day's out for the season this year. So that was a kind of a swing and a miss from Brian Cashman, one of his many in the offseason. I mean, you couldn't really predict Darren O'Day. I thought Darren O'Day was a great signing. I thought if you wanted to mix up the arm angles out of the bullpen, you saw with Tampa last year with Fairbanks and Aaron Loop and Castillo and Anderson and literally everybody. So I thought that was a move that, us trying to be the Rays, never works out. And Davey Garcia.
We always do too. It's insane. We always try and it never works.
Losing Cortez, losing Loaiza out of the bullpen after this COVID outbreak, you got to use a guy like Nick Nelson in the 8th inning. And I mean, we all know Nick Nelson stinks. There's no other way of putting it. I don't know how he has a job anymore on the Yankees, but they just still go to him. Well, they had really no choice. Gives up an RBI, 2-run single to Luke Williams, who we saw all series, brought in to pinch hit against lefties, but Nick Nelson gives up hits to whoever, so it doesn't matter if he's right-handed or left-handed. So he's giving up that 5-4, and then a wild pitch, 5-5. I mean, so that ends the inning.
We got used to those.
We did get used to those. And then a very just odd 9th inning, I believe. After a ground out from Florial, DJ singled, and then Stanton hit a high fly to right field that I thought he actually got most of, but Brad Miller, who's like a Swiss Army knife, you play him wherever, second. I think he came up as a second baseman. I've seen him at third. I've seen him at first, and then the Phillies are using him in right field, and he just botches it. So you have second and third with the winning run, I believe, on third base, and Odor reaches on a fielder's choice. They go home with it. I didn't have a problem with LeMahieu going there because the runner is going to be on third regardless.
Yeah.
So you take the chance on a bad throw. And then Gary pops up to end the inning. So I thought the game was over. And then they bring out Brooks Kriske, and I mean, to Luke, he's nails.
He was nails.
So
absolute nails.
We get out on the sack bunt. Runner moves to third. Then he strikes out Luke Williams, and he gets Segura to fly out. I don't know what Luke was talking to me. He was telling me the other day he was striking out Harper and Realmuto. I was like, I don't
know. No, I just knew he got a big strikeout. I didn't even know who was by. I was just hyped. Typing in all caps.
Why not? Why not? And then we get, I mean, the 10th inning is probably the best way. After the opposing team doesn't score in the 10th, we did exactly what we needed to do. We punted over the runner to third. Glaber's been playing better small ball lately with the stolen bags and the sack bunt. So he moves the runner to third, and then Lamar comes off the bench, and they have the outfield drawn in for the sack fly, and he sneaks it over the right fielder's head. So we had a walk-off win. We sweep the Phillies in the 2-game mini series, and you really want to go into the Boston series and at least split. You don't want to fall behind a game or two, which would be a sweep. Or actually, no, you don't want to fall behind a game or two at all. And you're hoping for a split at the worst, maybe a 3 out of 4. And I mean, we should have taken 3 out of 4. I mean, we really should have. I mean, we had
the
a lead.
Only game.
We had a lead.
Yeah, the only game we deserved to lose was one that Garrett Cole started. So that just shows you like we could have won that one too, just purely based off our starting pitcher. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, game 1, Monty, he did good. 5 2/3. No runs. I mean, 3 hits.
Rain delay too.
Ask for
back
more.
out after the rain delay.
Rain delay. Yeah, he came back out. He got split up in the rain delay.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more you can ask for from Jordan Montgomery. It was a really good outing. And we scored. We broke the scoreless tie in the top of the 4th on a Glaber ground out, which is good. Another thing, small ball. Love to see it. Just productive outs is good. Got to be scoring runs like that more than just a long ball. In the beginning of the year, we were only swinging for the long ball. So it seems some of these guys have really changed their approaches, which is good to see. And that lead held till the 7th when Kike tied it up on a sac fly. But in the 8th, we answered with 2 on a Stanton single to center to make it 2-1. And then Glaber hit a sac fly, which was a literal bomb.
Yep.
But it was that was a bomb. It went like 370.
It would have gotten out of Yankee Stadium easily.
But I mean, we're in Fenway Park. What are you gonna do? But I mean, 3-1 in the top of the 8th. Should be feeling good. Get it to Chad in the 9th, still up 3-1. And then 2 outs and 2 runners on. Kike puts one off the monster to tie it at 3. It was another one of those typical Chad Green batting practice outings. Everything he was throwing was just straight, wasn't moving at all. Very hittable. And even the outs were loud in that inning, so you kind of knew. Well, he had a really good strikeout for the first out, but the second
it was a front door slider that was
the second at bat or the second out was a liner to Gardy where it was like that could have easily gone off the monster. So you kind of saw the writing on the wall with that. They were making good contact. Thought the game was over. It still kind of was, even after Gardner hit a sac fly in the top of the 10th to make it 4-3.
I felt like we needed a home run to save us there.
Yeah, I don't know. We needed something. I literally thought we needed like 3 runs to have a good shot, and it turns out we were right. Because Brooks Kriske just comes up
man.
Our 10th inning guy, and he just can't find the glove. And 4 wild pitches. He had 4 wild pitches in 1 inning.
Same pitch too. Splitter.
The splitter. Like after the 3rd one, it's just like, all right, dude, don't throw the splitter.
What about the
Brantley could have helped him out?
What about the pass ball when the runner's scoring and he's like jogging to the plate and then
the second one he just didn't.
Was it just me or were there so many bang bang plays at the plate this series and one didn't? Not even one.
No, they were all. Every sac fly was close, and that's another. We needed Aaron Judge out there this series.
I mean, we would have saved at least 2 runs. I mean, like Greg Allen, like
all 3 sac flies.
These guys don't communicate and don't get behind the ball. Like your goal is to throw the guy out. So plan accordingly. Get behind the ball. Get some momentum before you throw. And they don't.
No, not at all. There's Greg Allen. There was like 3 times where it was like close, and if you just had a little more momentum or a little better arm, or just Aaron Judge out there, and then another one with Florio, another bang bang play. We just never got those our way. But yeah, I mean, you can't complain. Brooks Kriske, 4 wild pitches. I thought Brantley could have helped him out on 1 or 2 of them, but what are you gonna do? You can't really knock anyone other than Brooks Kriske in that situation. And I mean, after the 4th wild pitch, it was just a run around 3rd and 1 out. And Renfroe just hit a sac fly to end the game, and it was just over. Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do if your name's not Brooks Krisky in that game. At the end of that game, I should say, because it was just unexcusable. Got sent down the next day. I don't want to see him back up for a long time. That made me very angry.
Yeah. I mean, game 2 is, just not good. Wisdom
Devers.
teeth. Wisdom teeth in the morning. It wasn't a fun morning. I'm looking like freaking Theodore from Alvin and the Chipmunks. It's not good, but we're just rolling with it. Yankees take it tough 1 out of 4 series, so I'm just gonna take the hit and just go with it. Devers, man. He didn't look great at the beginning of the game, but you can't sneak 2 by Rafael Devers, and I wasn't really sure. There was a ground rule double in here, I believe in the 5th inning, where the runner didn't score. So we had second and third instead of the runner on second. And I was like, okay, maybe that's the break, because I guess I wasn't clear with
Duran hit it, yeah.
Duran hit it. I wasn't clear with the rule that if the runner's not, visibly scoring, then he can't get home plate. So he was already only at third, so it was second and third. And I just felt as though I don't know what it was, but the Greg Allen, there's a ball hit to Greg Allen, and I thought there was 1 out, and I thought the Greg Allen, if he had thrown him out at home plate, he would have ended the inning, but it would have only been 2 outs, so the run scores there. Boston ends up hitting, and then he ends up giving up a 2-run home run to Rafael Devers, because Devers is just insane. Garrett Cole pitched fine, 5 innings, 3 runs. He was pitching very careful all night. And when we only get, we didn't even talk. I'm sorry. Eduardo Rodriguez gets pulled out in the 1st inning, and you'd think that the bats would just, tattoo whoever comes in, but it was just a Dylan Bundy moment. Once again, they go to Jose Suarez out of the bullpen in that Angels game that I was at. I believe it was early July. And you think that maybe coming out of the bullpen, the Red Sox got to warm someone up immediately. You're just going to pounce on it. You have runners in second and third and nobody out to tack on 2 more runs after you score the first one, after Gardner has a great swing off Eduardo Rodriguez. And he just goes 1, 2, 3. Phillips Valdez just goes 1, 2, 3, and we don't score. Guy finishes, I believe, with 7 strikeouts. Yeah, he goes 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 7 Ks. And this guy was just called up from the minors. After a quick stint in the big leagues, we just did nothing. We We faced Yaxel Rios 5 times.
He pitched so much.
Pitched so many games, and we just didn't do enough damage against him. You get the Devers home run, you feel like it's the nail in the coffin, but you sit back and you realize you're only 2 runs back. Nestor gets through the 6th in his first outing back, and then his ERA jumps a whole run when he gives up a 2-strike, 2-out homer to Devers, which is a slider up and away. Devers just,
you got to tip your cap. You honestly have to tip your cap. It's just a great swing by a great player. There wasn't really much else I thought about that.
Yeah,
it is.
But yeah, it's just very unfortunate. You lose the Garrett Cole start, so now you're down 2-0 in the series, and you're thinking split, because going in, you're thinking the worst case scenario would be a split. So you just got to win the next 2 games, and nasty Nate Eovaldi, who has just came into his own with the Red Sox. You can take this.
He destroyed us, no question about it. He was pitched into the 8th. He was unbelievable, but J-Mo gave his best counter effort to that. The bats weren't doing anything, and it was ugly in the first. Bottom of the first, leadoff triple by Kike, and then he scored on an error. And J-Mo's line was it was a Little League homer. J-Mo's line was 7 innings, 1 run, but they didn't count the Little League home run because there was an error allowing him to score from third to home. But I'm giving, I'll give. He's 7 innings, 2 runs in a logical situation, which is still incredible. Yeah, it is nothing.
Brought his ERA is down to 4.36. I didn't think I was going to see 4.5 this year from him.
No,
I was thinking I was going to see upper 4.5.
It's crazy. It's crazy. He's just, I mean, he was really bad, and then he turned it around. But, yeah, I mean, this game was dead. It was 3-0 after the third. There's nothing positive to even say about it other than J-Mo's keeping us alive. And then in the eighth, Florial sparked us with a double. Leadoff inning, I believe, but then there was 2 quick outs, and then it went Gardy single, Odor floated one off the monster, and Torres bloop single to right. 4 quick runs. We're back in the lead.
Yeah.
We got it.
I thought that
it happened so fast.
I thought the Odor swing was really good. First pitch swinging after
he knew the park.
He knew the park.
He knew the park. He knew what he was doing, and he did exactly what he was trying to do.
It's like we're wasting. I understand I'm jumping the game. It's like we're wasting Rougned Odor production. I mean, this guy is literally hitting like a great addition, looking powerful, getting big hits left and right. I believe he's hitting close to 280 since the end of May, higher since the middle of June. So, it's just
when we're good next year, he's gonna suck.
Yeah, if we're good.
So, yeah, no, but I see what you mean. Though it's more of he's good when we're playing like this, and you already know if we're ever good again, and he's on the team.
You see the last out of the 8th inning, with Greg Allen and Estevan Florial coming in.
They ran into each other. Yeah, I mean,
I thought that was about to be bad.
I almost stopped breathing. I just sat there and frozen. That was a lot of this series, just sitting there frozen. Everything's just all whack.
It's like a bad news bears kind of thing.
Yep, and then in comes Chapman in the 9th, and it got dicey.
Yeah, I mean, as dicey as
I believe it was 2nd and 3rd. Actually, it was like a little league Fenway ground rule double with 2 outs and a runner on first. So
thank God that ball didn't jump over Allen's head, because that was.
Oh, can you imagine? That would have scored 2. I mean, it would have been inside the park home run. That feels like 380 down the right field line. Just has to keep rolling. But yeah, I mean, got us right to the brink and then shut the door, which was huge. This was one of the wins where it's like, this is a momentum win. We can go in and get the split tomorrow. And it really looked like we were going to. If we pick up this win today, we're 2.5 back of a playoff spot, despite all of the ridiculous losses we've had this year. And then,
2.5 back of a playoff spot against a team that we've done okay against the Rays. I think we're 5-8 against them, 5-7. They don't have Glass now. It's not the same team. I know they added Nelson Cruz, but I mean, this is just a different team, and they're beatable. I know they're in a wild card spot, but the Rays don't scare me as much as they used to. And you get past the Rays, then you got Miami and you got Baltimore, and if you add some reinforcements, you're going to get Judge back this series. You'll probably go trade for somebody as well, and it's just you're building something. No, you're building something to beat on these bad teams, and you're just going to keep picking up momentum, and then you go play for the Mariners, the 4-game, and then you just sink those guys. I think
4 against them, and I think a 3 against Oakland after. A little West Coast thing. That's it.
You just adding reinforcements would have been the best thing, and it's gotten to the point where it's do we even do that? It's this loss today was probably the worst loss of the season. Gotta be. Yeah. It's gotta be because
I still say the Houston one. It was so bad.
From a blown lead standpoint in the last inning against a guy that you couldn't give up the walk-off home run to. That was more of a kind of
emotional one. This was actually more. Yeah, no, that's true. This is actually more of a implication standpoint, just really bad.
I mean, you have a no-hitter through 7. and it got to the point where it was thing with Domingo Germán, it's a confidence thing. Pull him out after the 7th inning. Say, hey, Domingo, you just went 7 innings, no hits, no nothing. It shouldn't be a personal accomplishment thing. This is a must-win game at the end of July. it's swaying your season, whether you're buyers or sellers. In my opinion, they're gonna buy anyway and do the wrong
they're
thing
stubborn. They're too stubborn.
because they want to win for the city. But you pull them out and you give whoever's coming in a fresh inning. And I know that might be, contrary to what people think. I just don't think you bring Herman back out there. I don't. I know he's throwing a no-hitter, but you've seen Domingo Herman blow up in certain situations, and you don't want that to happen. So start the inning with Loaizaga.
I agree it was mismanaged, but I was more on the fence of bringing in Loaizaga was kind of the mistake, considering he was the only one, or other than Chapman, who's the only one of our high leverage relievers who pitched the day before. You had Chad off a rest day and Britton off at least one rest day, might have even been two. So it's obviously, Loaizaga is a stud, but 2 straight games coming off the COVID IL. It's like no wonder he came out flat. And I wasn't thinking this in the moment necessarily, but as it was unfolding and it was going through my brain, and you see it with Britton too. He came in after and he looked good. He looked really sharp, and it just shows you that no decision is made with confidence and no decision is made with the right rationale. And it shows because we just lose all these ridiculous games that are so easily winnable in the late innings.
Yeah. From a pitching, decision standpoint, maybe not Loaizaga, maybe you go Green, and I'm fine with that. I just hate, and I saw this last year, would leave the pitcher in one too many innings, one too many batters. And he gave up a double to Verdugo. Give him the 7 innings, give him the nod, say, great job today. You just pitched probably the game of your career in a game where we needed you the most, in a game where everything seemed to go right, except for a few things. You had Giancarlo Stanton coming up with the bases loaded and 1 man out. They bring in a lefty. They give you a favorable matchup.
Oh, that was...
and it's just adding to this Joey Gallo argument. So you want a guy that's going to come into a position that's going to, come through and get you a big hit. Joey Gallo, I think the last time we spoke, pretty sure he was hitting below 215 with runners in scoring position this year. Rougned Odor, though, with 2 outs and runners in scoring positions, hitting, I believe 350. So you're telling me you want to bring in a guy who's going to strike out at a 200K clip and going to come into a runners in scoring position and still not do the job? It just makes no sense. Why do you want multiple guys in the lineup? They're going to do the exact same thing in a spot where you need contact. He struck out. At least put the bat on the ball. Show us that you have the capability of putting the bat on the ball against a left-handed pitcher. I know he's a great hitter at Fenway, but this series, he didn't hit lefties whatsoever. He didn't. He had that hit off Ottavino, which was lucky, if anything. He's falling back on his swing. It's just he's not who you want up in a situation ever, almost. I'm never thinking to myself, who do I want up in this situation? The answer is never Giancarlo Stanton. So it just makes the Joey Gallo argument just that much more ridiculous to me, especially after a game like this. You need guys that are going to put the bat on the ball, and Stanton's not one of them. And neither is Joey Gallo. So, that was the turning point. You had a Glaber, got caught in a rundown. Brandon Workman, we saw in the Boston series, the 9-1 win. Brandon Workman walked 2 guys in with the bases loaded. This guy is just not good at all, and we let him off the hook. Gary hit a triple off him. That shouldn't happen. But so he goes 1 inning, two hits and an earned run. Glaber gets picked off, and then the runner, follows him to second base. So there's 1 out, and then you get a ground out, and then we do nothing with the last hitter. So it's just we wasted that opportunity. I'm not saying that was going to be the complete difference, but we had a lot of opportunities today, and we didn't come through. We were 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position, which is not even that bad. That's 250. But
it's our year high. It sounds like if you told me that was our year best day with running in scoring position, I would almost believe it because of how bad we've been. So you
And
take
then
that.
last inning, Stanton, I believe, leads off or with 2 outs, hits a single. It's like, where was this? Like, where was this when you had the bases loaded in a matchup where you're favored in that matchup? I mean, Matt Barnes with his cutter, I'm not thinking Stanton's going to do anything. So he doesn't. Or he finally does. Bring in Wade. He like steals second. He should have gotten thrown out. I mean, the tag was right on him. So he gets to second base. And then O'Joy goes up and pops up. And then that's the game. I mean, it's just you can't make it up anymore.
Happened so fast. It all happened so fast. It's crazy.
I saw a post on Twitter. I apologize. I didn't get the name. I swiped out of it, but I did get a screenshot. They listed the 10 worst losses of the season. You got the Boston loss today is number 1. Houston loss number 2. The Angels 11-8 loss with Chapman in the last inning and Jared Walsh. You got the 5-4 loss to Boston just the other night. So you have 2 of the worst losses of the season, according to this person. And in my opinion, those were 2 of the worst losses of the season, just the way it played out. You have the July 4th game against the Mets. You got Chapman giving up a double, a home run, and double, and another home run to, Nelson Cruz. So we'll see him soon. The Houston game with Chad Green giving up the home run to Altuve. You get swept at home in extra innings by Boston for the first time in like 10 years. Detroit, Robbie Grossman, after a pitch called like in the strike zone, called a ball. Robbie Grossman hits a home run the next pitch to lose to the Tigers.
Justin Wilson.
That's probably the moment in the season where things went from good to bad. That was like when our starters were pitching at like an all-time best, like franchise history. They were at the top from a starting pitching standpoint. I think they went like a whole week of like starts of 2 or less. We had a no-hitter in there. We were like, I think we swept the White Sox, and then we go on the road to play Detroit, which was a series that we thought was just a walk in the park, cakewalk. And we get swept, I believe, right? Was it a sweep?
Mm-hmm. We got swept.
And then you got the Philadelphia Phillies game where we score 3 runs in the 9th inning after, getting Tayo knocked out in the first inning. We score 3 runs to tie it in the last inning. And then you have an Aaron Boone doesn't call, an intentional walk to possibly set up the double play to end the game, or to bring it to even more extra innings. I mean, there's just so many losses. I mean, me and Luke were talking about it before the episode. Like, you could take 8 of those losses and we'd be, definitely.
That alone,
defending.
It takes us 4 games up in the standings, right? Whether or not anything with the A's or the Mariners or the Red Sox or the Rays or anything. Like, just those alone sways it so much.
I mean, today's loss was just I don't know. I'm just very upset. And whenever you want them to play well, whenever you latch onto them, they just drop you back in the water like you're a fish. I mean, that's really what it is.
If we won 8 of those, we would be 59. We would have 59 wins.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I mean, that's a completely different everything.
Yep. Everything's different.
Everything's so different. Wait, that can't be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, right? Because we'd be 59 and 38. We would be at 60 wins before 40 losses, probably.
I mean,
if you take away 8 of those, and literally 5 of them were insane losses. Some of them were bad, but not reasonable. At least 5 of them were insane, and even that's a huge difference. It's just a tale of this year, really. There's nothing. There's no words. There really is no words. That's insane when you actually crunch the numbers on that.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand how I don't see how you can go into the deadline here and actually put together some moves. I mean, unless you're going to go and make moves for the future. I saw a move maybe potentially is Whit Merrifield, a guy that we could bring in who's going to steal bases, score a lot of runs, get on base, hit triples. Sounds good. I made a post about Luis Arias on our Instagram. He's interesting, but Twins are probably not going to deal him to the Yankees, especially when he's cheap, affordable, and I mean, there's just no reason to trade him unless they need to, and they don't.
He's going to be part of their future.
Yeah. So
I do like Whit Merrifield though. That gives me, even though he's righty, it gives me Johnny Damon vibes, like in that like 2 spot.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a pesky guy. I could see that. But anything, whoever, if we trade for anybody, they need to have at least control next year, like minimum, like bare minimum. No, well, anyone like that would help us.
Yeah, we need even build for the future. If that means
if they help us and he's a rental, it's like, all right, well, what does that do for me? Like, okay, he helped us finish with 86 wins instead of 84. Still didn't make the playoffs. Like, we're. I don't know. It needs to be for the future. It really just needs to be for the future, and they never do it, so I know they won't. But it can't. You got to be smart about it because you're looking at a pretty dark situation if they sell the farm to go over the luxury tax for guys that are only going to help us this year when it's already falling apart.
Season's over.
Falling apart.
I mean, it's over.
Done.
I mean, it's just done. It's already fallen apart. I mean, this series was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I mean, we're not beating anyone good, so it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
I hate false positives. I hate just false hope. And this year's really made me realize that, false hope is a thing. Like every time you think that maybe they're turning a corner, they're not. And Aaron Boone says it in the postgame. He was like, oh, yeah, we fought through adversity. We're going to turn the corner. We're close. We're close.
We've bounced back. We've bounced back from losses like this. I've never seen this team bounce back one time in my life. This Aaron Boone era of Yankees.
The 2019
the only time
Yankees
was I was going to say, but those were different players. Those weren't the A squad of players. So that doesn't even really it counts, but it's not like the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
This group under this manager doesn't do well with adversity. So as we just keep falling apart, to say that we're good at fighting adversity and coming back from things like this is just flat out not true because
it's nonsense.
Don't do it.
It's literal nonsense.
It's insane. He's babbling. He's just babbling at this point. He doesn't know what to do.
He needs to go. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it just needs to change. Something just needs to change because this team's not going to go anywhere.
Stale.
And we've seen Aaron Boone's teams, finish in first place, get to the American League Championship Series, win over 100 games year after year after year. Had a struggled year last year, but that's the 60 games. But these are the New York Yankees. And I don't know if it's Aaron Boone is the problem because there are some times where I feel like it's just out of his control. He's just doing what he can. And then there are other times where he makes a bad decision and then it's just, fire Boone. I don't know. Something just needs to change. There's got to be a mood swing.
He needs to go for the moves alone because they're just a disaster sometimes. But on top of that, it's just a mojo. He is a terrible mojo. He's a terrible philosophy. Nothing about him screams winner. It's all the loser's mentality. He's trying to play 162 in one day. You play to win the day, and you worry about tomorrow.
It's like
it's really that simple, and he doesn't play like that because they think they're smarter than they are. They all do.
It's like Aaron Boone
front office.
It's like Aaron Boone still continues to think that these are the New York Yankees. Like they're just gonna bounce back magically. No, this is a different year, different team. The players are not performing. Gleyber Torres is not the player that you thought you had in 2019. Luke Voit hurt.
DJ's down.
A
lot.
Judge is even healthy. Stanton's even healthy. It's just a completely different year. You thought if you got 2 healthy seasons from Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, you were going to make a run for the pennant. You probably get to the World Series considering how weak the American League is.
We're not even close. We're not even close.
Now Boston, who's projected to finish 4th place, is winning the division. It's just
Nathan Eovaldi. What a joke. It's literally a joke. I don't know. Garrett Whitlock.
Yeah. I'm sick of it. The last thing I need is to see the Yankees make a stupid trade. And that's the last thing I need.
All right. Trevor Story and John Gray for Peraza, Volpe, and like someone else, and it's the worst.
No.
It's done. It's like that.
Yeah,
that would be
you were actually
just the
proposing
icing on the cake.
No. I was
no.
about to say, like, what are you saying to me?
No, icing on the cake. You just lose all your highly touted shortstop prospects for a rental. I'm just picturing that because this can't get worse.
How is Trevor Story going to even help this team? Like, he's a competent shortstop. He's going to steal bases. But on the road, I mean, you always talk about the Coors effect. I mean, maybe not you, but just in general, baseball fans. This guy is not a great road player, and neither was Nolan Arenado. Neither is Charlie Blackmon. Neither are any of these guys that play for the Rockies. Their numbers at home are significantly better for a reason. So this guy's going to go out and sign a big deal with the team, and he's not going to be the same player. Nolan Arenado is not the same guy that he was in Colorado. Sure, he bat third and played third base for the National League All-Stars? Well, maybe because he was playing in Colorado. Maybe he was playing in his old home park, and they were just going to bat him third. But he's not hitting 300. He's not on pace for 40 home runs. He might win the Gold Glove, but that's defense. That's different. Trevor Story's not a guy that we need. I don't really know who we need. It's just,
I don't know either.
That's why I'm kind of just stop. Just stop thinking about trading anyone. Just go into the offseason, then you make the moves. Try to
Patel in the offseason. I would love Patel in the offseason.
Bolster Chapman's value so you can trade him. Bolster Britton's value so you can trade one of the two. It's just
we need one of those off the books. We need one of them off the books.
One of them.
They combined, it's $31 million.
It's way too much money.
It's insane.
Two lefties. That's why I'm
excited
about Albert Abreu.
And that's the only thing we develop well, too. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's the only thing we develop well. So why are we spending $30 million in the only department that we develop well? When you have guys like this coming up every year, Chad Green, Loizaga, Albert Abreu now storing a 100-mile-an-hour sinker. Like, just rock with that. You can get one high-profile guy to close out games because Mariano Rivera isn't just going to come out of nowhere. But you can't be doing this. You can't be spending money in inefficient areas. And it's such a badly constructed team. There's so many flaws. It's unbelievable.
And going into the year, you don't think about how spending all that money on Britton and Chapman, drops the ball. I don't think going into the year you were thinking, the Yankees are spending way too much money on Zach Britton and Aroldis Chapman. No, that's definitely not what I was thinking. I'm still thinking about the Stanton contract and how that hamstrings us and how we didn't get Francisco Lindor because we're paying Giancarlo Stanton the money and we weren't going to be able to pay Lindor in the offseason. It's just like little things like that just hamstring the Yankees. But right now, I think I've come to the realization that I don't know. I think it's possible to move Stanton if you get money back, sending money back to move Stanton. So it's like the difference, you're paying the difference between two players. Like if Stanton's making 31 and you're getting a player that's making 18, I mean, you're paying the guy $13 million pretty much if you think about it like that. But I don't think the Yankees are thinking about it like that. I really don't. They're saying that Stanton's going to play the outfield in Boston this series. I didn't see Stanton out there.
What happened to he just did it. He didn't play one inning.
I don't understand. I don't understand why they lie to the fan base. It's like what? Like, don't do that. Like, just if you're gonna make up your mind and do it. Don't tell us one thing and then just don't follow through, especially this season. They have no room to tell us one thing and do the other at this point. Just do it. Just do it. Like, don't tell us about it. Just do it. I'm sick of it.
It was good. It was good to see Sevy in the dugout today. I noticed that.
Big deal.
He's back soon. That'll be good.
I mean, I like Severino,
there's a path. There's a path, dude. You go into the off season. You get an outfielder. You get two lefty hitters. I was saying it to someone a couple of days ago. I had a good one in my head. It was like Ketel Marte and then
Adam Frazier just moved to the Padres World Series winning roster.
Maybe that's a crazy lineup, but two lefty bats, and then you have all this money coming off the books. Hopefully, we get rid of either Chapman or Britton, so then that frees up that, and then Kluber's another $11 million. You bring in a couple bats and then a pitcher to slot in that two between Cole and Sevy.
And what if you were able to move Stanton? Like think about
it
how much money you would
works.
have. Like
Oh,
even
I
if
know.
like
I know. I'm
go
not
trade
disagreeing.
go trade Stanton to the Padres right now. They can have Cronenworth play first. They can have Frazier play second. Tatis at short and Machado at third. Their infield is set for at least 3-4 years. I don't know what Frazier has on his contract, but Eric Hosmer's on his way out. And he's making so much money too. So move Stanton to the Padres. They're clearly trying to separate themselves from the Dodgers and the Giants. So try to make a splash. I mean, that's a splash. And Stanton's a beast at Petco Park. I mean, the guy literally went there in the postseason, hit like 8 home runs. Like
that's crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't do that though. Because they don't want to pay Hosmer because he sucks. It's kind of like
they don't want to pay Hosmer who sucks, but they could bring in a guy who's going to be their universal DH next year.
You trade. Yeah, that's true.
You got to pair Stanton up with Gleyber. It just has
trade
to
Stanton so you could sign Seager, move Gleyber to second.
No, I don't think you're able to trade Stanton without Gleyber in the deal. I think Gleyber has to be in the deal. I think that's the only thing that entices the other team. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it has to be like a Torres Stanton for a guy that makes money.
What a disaster.
It's gotten to that point.
What a literal disaster this is. It's a disaster. We can't fix it. We could do this all day. We can't fix it.
Well, they're not going to listen to us.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if we orchestrate the perfect plan, if they're just going to blow through the luxury tax next year, then just keep Stanton, get rid of one and Chappie Britton still. That just has to happen. Then Kluber gets off the books. You sign Seager in a pitcher, and you trade Oswaldo, whoever, for Cattell, and then you're fine. Dump Hicks somehow. Hicks, can they do the Jacoby Ellsbury to Hicks? Because I never want to see him play again.
Well, I just don't understand the Aaron Hicks hate, because the guy can literally get on at a 385 on base percentage if healthy. But it's not like a Jacoby Ellsbury thing where the guy was just like never healthy and he was just like stunk on the field. But like if Aaron Hicks is ever healthy and he gets on the field, he's a solid player. Healthy. But he's a switch hitter too. And that's
Tommy John, this thing, like, it's not like he actually plays. And when he does, he's hitting 230 in the 3-hole, and all of his OBP is off like 1-out walks in the third inning. I
love walks. I
do too. It's just not
he's a switch hitter. That's why he's already on our team.
He's a misleading player. He's just a misleading player, and the stat sheet doesn't match up. Like, when I see him, I'm like, if he doesn't walk here, he's not doing anything. And his defense, his arms depleted after the Tommy John. You see it. He looked like a shell of himself. He just doesn't have any plus tools other than walking, and we're paying him $10 million a year. It's just a lot of bad stuff going on. It really is what it is.
Yeah. All right, my mouth's hurting. I can't talk anymore.
My brain's hurting.
My brain hurts. I have a headache. I need to go take some Advil because I can't think about them anymore. I took an hour out of my day to talk about him after what happened today, and I'm spent.
Absolutely.
I'm done.
No, yeah, we aired it out though. I don't really have too much else.
Yeah.
I just gotta see what they do. If they win 2 out of 3 against the Rays, though, they're gonna dump the farm. I already know, they're so stupid.
Yeah.
If they win that first Rays game, they're gonna just get on the phone right after. It's gonna be like, we're back. It's insane. It just is insane.
Yeah. I really hope that's not the case. I really hope they just get swept by the Rays so they know that they're not doing anything. Knowing them, they'll probably sweep the Rays.
Yeah, no, they're going to win 2 out of 3 because a sweep would be too good. 2 out of 3, just good enough to lure us in and trade everybody forever. Like,
for Joey Gallo and Trevor Story. I see all these TikToks about how my American League trade deadline predictions, Joey Gallo to the Yankees with this like edit music. I'm like, first off, you better not be a Yankee fan. I can't look at Twitter anymore or TikTok.
I can't look at anything.
I see so many Boston Reds. Just looking at today's game just really makes me angry. Like, just the after the fact. I was upset during the game, but oh man, just after. After the game made me feel so much worse. Just like letting
it's dead. It's just dead.
the season's over. That's the episode. Season is over. That's it. That's the episode. Season
last one before the trade deadline. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll know. We'll know this time in a week.
Is there even a point of doing a trade deadline special at this point? I mean,
if they win the first Rays game, you better believe it, because then they'll trade for everybody.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there is, but like, I mean, we don't got to stream it the whole time. We can go get some lunch.
Go an Instagram
relax.
Live.
Yeah, we'll do something if something happens, but might just have to go eat some grandma's pizza and call it good.
Yeah, minus the car.
If your mouth's better.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, we'll figure it out. I don't know, but yeah, I'm done talking about the Yankees. The Yankees just need to either win the rest of the season, go like undefeated, or just lose. And that's the way I feel about it. Luke, do you have anything else to offer?
No, we aired it out after those game recaps. That was refreshing. I feel pretty zen right now. Just ready to see what happens.
I'm happy for you that you're zened out right now. I need sleep.
9:15. Yeah, no, bad. It is. Got to get a good night's rest.
Yep.
Monday off day. Maybe I'll read a book or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Get out of here.
Fly a kite. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, that concludes episode 14. If you liked it, leave a like, 5-star review on Apple Pod. We're going to start pumping
these out.
Follow the
socials. We're going to start doing them. Well, we already do, but big trade deadline one, and then sneaks up right into August. We're going to know a lot more about the team in the next coming couple weeks.
And the setup's just going to keep changing. So, I mean, we're going to be
less than a month. We're going
to have to figure that out. Not really sure how we're
going
to do it.
We're doing a lot of moving. We're doing a lot of moving this first year.
I don't like a lot of moving.
This is a test drive. This is a test drive year for sure. I started in Cali.
Yeah.
Been doing a lot.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
The groundwork done.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. And we will catch you next week. Peace.
Yep. Peace.